1 year of writing, countless mistakes. We're going to look at some of my old writing and we are going to compare it to now. I have the original version and then I have the rewrite that I did for a creative writing class. And we're going to see if I can make it better. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So the passage is pretty short. It's about 328 words. We'll read it once and then we'll rewrite the first part of it. And yeah, so let's see what about 1 year of writing has done for me. Have I improved? Or perhaps I've gotten worse. The context of this story is we have our main protagonist who is in a cart and they're going through a human village. There's a big distinction between humans and magic users in this world, where the humans are like our versions of Hollywood peasants, while the magic users are kind of more like elite, and they have all kinds of resources that they can use. So this, for the protagonist and a couple of very important characters, is the first time that the protagonist will be going through this village and seeing the state of the human world. So, large oil lanterns lit the road as peering eyes followed them. They wore strange clothes and simple cuts, made of simpler materials and bearing many holes. Some even wore strange hats with strange symbols and shoes with clunky soles as if made of leather and wood. One shabby-looking human wearing a bizarre tunic that stopped below his knees stood on a rusted barrel, a small crowd at his feet. The age of the four gods shall come to end. May the one true light guide us. The man was screaming. The crowd cheered with every word. Reject the false, may our waters run clean and lands free. Blast them, the Zephyrim and their demonic ways. May they perish and our woes quenched. Liminard whispered to the boys, heretics, pay them no heed. The man screaming faded away. They rode quietly through the streets. Editing Ollie here. There's a couple things I want to just add to this video real fast. I'm just going to go through this and talk a little bit about the things that I changed and why I changed them. I'm going to try and do this super quick just because the video is already a bit longer. So basically the first part, large oil lanterns lit the road as peering eyes followed them. The large oil part is a little bit boring. I feel like it could be better. And then stuff like they wore strange clothes, simple cuts made of simpler materials. It's like kind of descriptive, but not in a very specific way. And I feel like being more specific with less words is a lot stronger. And then stuff like bearing many holes. Some even wore strange hats. It's like, once again, it's a lot of description about stuff that doesn't really mean anything. It's kind of fluff. So 3 lines essentially saying the same thing. Then one shabby looking human, once again, more description could be better. A bizarre tunic. Why is the tunic bizarre? So in the rewrite, which I'm going to show you right after this section, you're going to see those differences I made. And so you'll see I go into description saying like why it is, and it's stopped below his knees. It's very like a lot of nothing. And then he stood on a rusted barrow, a small crowd at his feet. In the rewrite, I go way more into details about how the people come to be listening to this man who is talking. I'm not going to make any words about this. This part, I don't really have anything against it. I rewrote it in a better way. And then we get here, so it's Liminard whispered to the boys, heretics pay them no heed. I made some small changes there, just kind of made it more obvious that they were in a carriage and that they're going forward. And then the man screaming faded away. They rode quietly through the streets. I just made it a little bit more purpley prosy. But nothing too crazy. And funny enough, in the final edit, it ends up sounding more like this one than the original rewrite. This isn't terrible, but it's obviously first draft material. Just the first part, it could be better. So now we're going to jump to the rewrite, and the rewrite is much better. It is a little bit longer. So here we go. It's 257 words. Oil lanterns lit the muddy road as peering eyes followed them like flies to a wound. Houses stood like rotting carcasses with crooked windows and leaning walls. The night grew quiet. only broken by the creaking carriage as if those of aching bones. Then they heard them, humans, scuttling like rats with their greedy little eyes, and from the shadows they slithered like maggots, swarming at one shabby man's feet. He was slumped atop a barrel like a mole rat festering in the heat. He wore a weathered tunic riddled with patches that caressed his scabbed knees. From the north came a great winter's wind that ripped and clawed, exposing his blistering skin. It was a foul sight, and they yearned to look away, but his eyes raged on like a thundering sea. And so they could not look away. His words churned and gurgled, and with it the crowd foamed with glee. The age of the four gods shall come to end. May the one true light guide us. Reject the false. May our waters and children run free. Blast them, the Eldarians and their unholy ways. Leeches to their gods' wounds, and yet they live disease-free. Blast them, embrace the one true light. The crowd echoed his cries and howled like rabid wolves. Heretics, pay them no heed. Limnir whispered to the boys, the golden light fading from his eyes. He closed the blinds on the cart, and like a dead dog's yowling, the screams faded away. This is, I find, much more powerful, but it's overwritten. And I don't mind overwritten stuff so long, or purpley things, so long as you can understand the message pretty good. And I find here it is a little bit harder to understand what's going on. Maybe if you were just reading it and I wasn't reading it out loud, it would be easier. But I definitely think that this is one of those cases where if it was me currently writing it right now, I would slim this down. Like just the first part, oil lanterns, okay, that's cool. Flies to a wound, I don't hate that. Houses stood like rotten carcasses, okay, with crooked windows, leaning walls. It's like we're starting to pile up all the descriptions. It's starting to get a bit heavy. The night grew quiet, only broken by creaking carriages. It's like there's so much stuff. It's too much. We're gonna do a little quick line edit on this. We're gonna chop away some stuff, but I'm gonna try and do this really fast. Like spend 5 minutes just cutting some stuff real fast. So we'll see what happens. So here we go. Oil lanterns lit the muddy roads as peering eyes followed them like flies to a wound. Houses stood like rotting carcasses with crooked windows and leaning walls. I don't hate that. That's very like Ollie-ish. The night grew quiet, only broken by the creaking carriage like those of aching bones. Deleted. It's a duplicate. Doesn't matter. The night grew quiet, only broken by the creaking carriage. That's I don't really like the same word. Then they heard them. I would almost say like, then they heard them, humans, scuttling like rats with their greedy little eyes, and from the shadows they slithered like maggots, swarming one shabby. This is like, I feel like I'm saying the same thing twice. It's like, they are coming from the shadows, they're slithering like maggots, and they're swarming. It's like slithering, swarming, shadows. Oh, and then they're scuttling. That's a lot of like descriptive words with the letter S, which doesn't really matter, but I just feel maybe because of my dyslexia, I feel like it's very confusing. So I'm gonna keep scuttling because that's the first thing. Sorry, scuttling like rats with their greedy little eyes that I like. They slithered, they swarm, they came from the shadows. They swarm from the shadows like maggots at one shabby man's feet. Let's try that. Greedy little eyes. Shit, now I'm second guessing myself. Okay. Scuttling like rats, they're scuttling with their greedy little eyes. They swarmed from the shadows like maggots at one shabby man's feet. Okay, he was slumped atop a barrel. So one of the things that some of the people that read my stuff said is that it sounds like this person is dead, but he's actually not dead. He's standing. So I feel like this is confusing. He was atop a barrel. Slumped like a mole rat festering in the heat. It's such a simple fix, but it makes sense. His weathered tunic He wore a weather. We know he's wearing, so I could potentially try and cut this and say, wait, you know what? His weathered tunic. His weathered tunic, riddled with patches, caressed his scabbed knees. A great northern wind ripped and clawed, exposing his blistering skin from the north. Now, I kind of like this actually, because it feels a bit like mythic. From the north came a great winter's wind that ripped and clawed. I don't know, there's something I like about that. I'm gonna leave that. Clawed, exposing his blistered skin. It was a foul sight, and they yearned. This part I also really like because it makes me think of Tolkien, even though it's not Tolkienish in my style of writing. It leans more Tolkienish than say like Tchaikovsky. It was a foul sight, and they yearned. Like, I imagine an old man saying this. It was a foul sight, and they yearned to look away, but his eyes raged like a thundering sea. I don't know. I want like an old man to read this. Eyes raged on like a thundering sea. I'm gonna keep that. And so they could not look away. His words churned and gurgled, and with it the crowd foamed with glee. I really like this. I'm not gonna touch it because I really like churned, like churning water. Gurgled, I could potentially get rid of. And so they could not look away. His words churned, and with it the crowd foamed with glee. Yeah, you see, it's silly, but I actually find that is way more powerful. His words churned, and with it the crowd foamed with glee. It's more punchy, and I feel like it works better. This part I actually don't really want to change because it sets up some really, really important key plot points for the story. So I'll look over it, but there's stuff I can't change because it's important and it plays out later on in the story. Now here, this is where we can maybe start cutting. Leeches to their gods' wounds, and yet they live disease-free. Once again, that's an important plot point. Blast them, embrace the one true light. I'm gonna leave that. The crowd echoed his cries and howled like rabid wolves. The crowd howled. The echo in his cries is, even though I really like this, it's actually not that important. And the crowd howled like rabid wolves, I feel equally works. I'm not sure why that's like that. Heretics, pay them no heed, Limnir whispered. So this is actually a mistake. It should be whispered Limnir. So Limnir is like a very well-versed cleric, and I would never say Limnir said, like, hey you, Limnir said. It would be something poetic, said Limnir. So whispered Limnir to the boys, the golden light fading from his eyes. I could almost say the light fading from his golden eyes. No, golden light is because his eyes actually do project light when he uses magic. And this is something in my book too that is kind of, it's not an important key detail, but for the visuals, I really like it that when people use magic, if it's like a dark night, someone might use thing and all you see is like their glowing eyes. And obviously there's like, certain like vampires have glowing eyes, but it's not like flashlights. It's just like a kind of like a cat, like it reflects a bit, I guess, moonlight. He closed the blinds on the cart, and like a dead dog's yowling, the screams faded away. This, I almost feel like I can make it shorter. The dead dog's yowling is kind of like, once again, I really like this because it's poetic, but it's definitely overwritten. So he closed this. I'm just gonna do this. The silk blinds. I thought that's what the original one was, or maybe in the manuscript, because I think I might have also rewritten it there. He closed the silk blinds on the cart. We know it's in the cart. He closed the silk blinds, and like a dead dog's yowling, the screams faded away. I almost feel like saying like a cat's yowling. But then again, it's like, do cats yowling really fade away? It's a bit of a weird simile. So let's just try just to see the blinds. And the screams faded away. Or I could say the yowling, the howling. No, the screams. The cries. And you know what? For this one, let's do the full cam. and I'm just gonna read it, and don't, if you're following this and you're reading the lines, don't read the lines. So we'll go like this. Oil lanterns lit the muddy road as peering eyes followed them like flies to a wound. Houses stood like rotting carcasses with crooked windows and leaning walls. The night grew quiet, only broken by the carriage creaking. I'll fix that later. Then they heard them, humans, scuttling like rats, with their greedy little eyes, and they swarmed like maggots at one shabby man's feet. I know, it's something a bit weird there. He was atop a barrow, slumped like a mole rat, festering in the heat. His weathered tunic, riddled with patches, caressed his scabbed knees. And from the north came a great winter's wind that ripped in claws, exposing his blistering skin. It was a foul sight, and they yearned to look away, but his eyes raged on like a thundering sea. And so they could not look away. His words churned, and with it the crowd foamed with glee. The age of the four gods shall come to end. May the one true light guide us. Reject the false, may our waters and children run free. Blast them, the Eldarians and their unholy ways. Leeches to their gods' wounds, and yet they'd live disease-free. Blast them, embrace the one true light. The crowd howled like rabid wolves. The crowd echoed like rabid wolves. We'll see. Heretics, pay them no heed, whispered Lumineer. The golden light fading from his eyes. He closed the silk blinds, and the screams faded away. Okay, so there's a couple of things that as I was reading it, I'm not going to change right now just for the sake of the length of the video. But like even there, just reading it out loud, there's like little things that I'm like, oh, I should fix, because for one, to the boys, we actually know that that's who he's talking to, because if you're reading the story, you know they're in a cart. So there's no reason to say that. So to wrap this video up, which is definitely way too long than I intended it to be, that's about 1 year of writing. And just for fun, the original version was 145 words. Then the initial rewrite was 257. And now the current rewrite in 2026 is 228 words. And I do think the rewrite, even though there's still little things I want to fix up in there, which I'll do later, I still feel like it's better. And there's just like little things, but it's still a little bit too overridden. There's still a bit of chunkiness, but I want to leave it because at the same time, I want to stay true to the type of reading and writing that I like to do. I like to read stuff that is a little bit leans purple, but just not so much that you can't understand. Like, I'm not going to say like, I say barrel. I'm not going to say like the wooden blah, 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 or like some weird fancy word. I'm just going to say as it is. But anyways, so that's that. If you're a writer and you are possibly 1 year into your writing, tell me what you think of this, because I'd love to know kind of like where other people who are similar in their writing journey as I am, how you're feeling about stuff. And if there's things that you disagree in this video about what I did, let me know. And maybe we can make it in an even better version. Till then, see you guys in the next one.